Hey everybody, it's Tom Lyons here from RealmarkAI.com and Team Terra Lyons in Belleville, Ontario. And I've got a question here put forth by Stefan. He was wondering, how do you tie in Google Sheets with Follow Up Boss? In his case, he's looking for open house registration. So I've got open here. I've got my new spreadsheet that I created called Open House Registration. This is created in Google Sheets. Close that. We don't need that. I've given it a header. So I've given it first name, last name, phone number, email, and property. So these are the items that we're going to want to connect to Follow Up Boss. And then I've got Follow Up Boss open here. Let's go people. And so we've got all of this great stuff that's here, but we're going to want to put a tag on here called open house later so we can say what they're going to be. So we can see there's all sorts of leads here. So they would fall under leads and then tags. And we're going to want to import them into Follow Up Boss. And then we've got Zapier, which is here. So this is actually where we're going to start. We're going to create a new Zap. And it's going to ask us for a trigger. So a trigger is when somebody new gets added. So for us, a trigger is going to be every time a new row is created. So in this case, a new or updated row. Instant. And so a row is considered this. Like if I fill out row number 2 with information, or row number 3 with information, or row number 4. So anytime a row is updated, I want it to grab my information. And then I need to connect my account. And allow Zapier. So that's all that is for connecting it. You just basically log into Google and away you go. And then it's going to ask me to find the sheet in a second. So once I've got this, it says I'm connected to my account. I go over here and it's going to ask for what spreadsheet that I want. And I'm going to pick open house registration, but you can do a search if it doesn't show up immediately. And then I'm picking worksheet 1. And you could name the sheets, like you could continue to use this sheet and name the sheets differently, but we're only using one sheet. And then I want to trigger on any column. So I think what we want to do is we're not going to trigger on any particular column, but if I wanted to trigger on a column, I'd probably trigger on the last one here because it would be the last thing that I'd fill out. But ideally, you're using something like a Google form to fill this out or something instead of just typing it in. And if that's the case, then it's just all going to go in at one time, so you don't need a trigger based on a cell. Okay, so I'm going to test the trigger. So in this case, I'm just going to fill in my name, phone number, let's make sure we're not making any mistakes, email, and the property was going to be 48 Dungannon. Perfect. And then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to test that trigger and test the trigger. So it's testing to see if anything got updated there, and it did. So you can see it found my first name, found my last name, found the property, found the phone number, and found the email address and what row it's in and what the row number is. So that's perfect. We're going to continue with that selected record. And the next thing I want to do is I want to go to Follow Up Boss. So we just search for the application that we're working with. There it is, Follow Up Boss. And we're going to choose an event. And what we're looking for here is create or update a contact without triggering action plan. So the first step we have to do is add the contact to the system. And then later we can either add a tag or we can add an action plan. But we can do it in two stages. So we're going to pick that. We're going to pick my account. So it's going to ask for us to get our API key from Follow Up Boss. So that's easy. We just go back to Follow Up Boss, go to admin. And you're going to see along here a whole ton of choices, but the one we're looking for is API. And then there's a default API that we could use, but we're going to create a new API. And we're going to call this one Zapier. So we know why we're using that API. And if we need to revoke it later, we can. We're going to copy it. I'm going to delete this one afterwards. So don't worry about whether you can see this one or not. It's not going to be available after we're done this video. And then we go and we paste it in here. And we go, yeah, continue. So it's going to authenticate us for Follow-Up Boss just using that key that it gave us. There we go. And so you can see it's connected. All good. Continue. And then we're going to fill out the information we need for that contact. So to do that, we go first name and we hit this little plus here. And you can see I have information from the row or from the spreadsheet that we were collecting earlier. So I put in first name. I put in last name. I put in my email address. I put in my phone number. And then I can choose the source. Now, the source can come from all sorts of places, but we might want to just say open house like that. And so it'll always say open house because that's what this one runs for. And then stage, it's going to load the stage and we'll see what it comes up with. So this is a lead, but we could have a stage called open house lead if we wanted to, but we're going to go lead. Is contacted false. And then we can put a tag in here if we want. And so that tag could be anything from open house. And if we wanted to, we could put in the address, right? 48 Dungannon. And actually, you don't even have to do that. We can do this because we put property in there, right? So open house. And so if you wanted to, you could actually put the tags on this spreadsheet if you would like, and then just refer to that. But in this case, I'm going to go open house and then I'm going to put a tag for the address that it's about. And then I don't know where these people are from because we don't have that. And I don't have any of the custom field data yet. So that's all I'm filling out for them. I continue, and then I'm going to test it. So now it's going to see if it's going to add this contact to Follow-Up Boss. Now, I might already be in there, but we're going to find out. Let's go to people. And there we go. Tom, open house. Right, blah, 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 created. Let's go check out what information we know about Tom. We know that this was his phone number. This was his email address. Good stuff. We know that he's a lead and that his source came from an open house. Perfect. His agent is Tara. And we want to see tags. Yeah, there's our tag. So you can see I added the tag 48 Dungannon and I added the tag open house so that if I need to pull these up or start an automation in some way, I can do it. So that's great. And then if we want to add them to an action plan later, like a different action plan, we can add another step. And that step would be, again, to go into Follow-Up Boss. And we're going to choose an event and we're going to apply an action plan to a contact. And then we're going to continue. And then we need the contact phone number or email address or ID number. So if we go in here, you can see I've got an ID number right here. So I could use this ID number, or I could use the phone number, or I could use the email address. So let's go back and see what our choices are. If we hit the plus side, we can see what information we have. And it gave us the ID number. So we'll just pick the ID number so we're sure we got the right person. And then I can go, well, what plan do I want to put them on? Like, we can put them on, well, I should have an open house one here. There are open house leads. So there we go. So now I've put them on the open house league or open house leads action plan. Continue. And then again, I test this step. So it's going to find this ID and it's going to put them on action plan 186. Okay, good. If I go back and I look at Tom, and you can see action plans. I'm now on the open house leads action plan and it's running. Happy grasshopper plan. We're going to pause that one because we don't need it running right now. It's just automatically set to run on anyone, but I've now applied it because they did the open house. And so this is done, right? Every time a new lead gets put into Google Sheets, it will activate follow-up boss and move the data over and then apply the action plan. So all I have to do is go publish. And your Zap's on. No, I don't have to do, I don't have to transfer my data because there's none to transfer. And there we go. So you notice I didn't name this one. So I should really actually name this. That's my fault. Let's go back into it so you can see where that's done. So see right here, I didn't name this. You just click on it, you'll rename it, and we'll call this open house to follow-up boss. There. Maybe fix my spelling while I'm at it. Okay, that's it. I'm now done. That automation is completely done for follow-up boss. Really easy, only 3 steps. If you have questions, just fire them off to me.